So, good evening, everyone. I have two questions. First, what is National Education Policy 2020? Please use chat box for your answer. Okay. Now, my next question is, what is assessment? As we all are teacher here, so I hope that you are aware about this word. So please use, yes, very good, thank you. Please use chat box for your answer. Good evening, everyone. My name is Saket and I am here to present webinar on new assessment method as per the National Education Policy 2020. So to understand this topic, we give our focus on what is National Education Policy and what is assessment. So let's have a look. What are the today's objectives? Number one, history of National Education Policy. Number two, what is introduction? So how means the highlighted points, introduction of National Education Policy 2020. What is the need of new National Education Policy? What is assessment? What are the different types of assessment? Difference between assessment and evaluation. How assessment reforms in new NEP, National Education Policy. How new assessment is effective if we compare than the previous one. What is self and peer assessment? And finally, what is Parak? So let's have a look about the history of National Education Policy. At the time of independence, we were in a very crucial position, like the literacy rate was very, very poor in India. We can say the percentage was very low. That's why government announced few education policy on that is called National Education Policy. So here you can find a roadmap, a road that is showing the National Education Policy, and these milestones are when that policy were announced. So first National Education Policy were announced by Indira Gandhi government in year 1968 to give at least minimum education for our children. Now, so first national policy on education was announced on 1968. Now, next, second national policy on education announced on 1986. And this was announced by former late Rajiv Gandhi government with the help of Ministry of Human Resource and Development. In this policy, we will discuss about later in later slides. Now, third national education policy, that is 2020. Before that, I just want to tell 1992 policy was not any new policy. Actually, this policy was just amendment of 1986 policy, and 2005 policy was also the amendment of 1986 policy. In 1992, they started professional technical programs like we can say for the IEEE, for IIT, and these type of technical educations. For now 2005 national policy amendment, this is for common minimum program for everyone. And in year 2016, the Narendra Modi government started, we can say, for the national education policy to 2020. So let's start with first national education policy. First national education policy, post-independence, India was in very crucial, we can say, the situation. Economy was very poor, literacy was very poor if we were compared with the other part of India. So this was introduced by late former Prime Minister, that is Indira Gandhi government. What are the key objectives? We can say free and compulsory education. Economy was very poor, so nobody want to pay any money for education. So they introduced this policy as free till age of 14 and compulsory education. It is compulsory that every child must go to the school, we can say, to get education, minimum education. This was the mainly, we can say, that vision of this policy. Next is identification of quality. Yes, without school, how anyone can judge, how any person can judge what type of quality did any particular student or child has. So that's why this was means this time they are identifying the what are the qualities, what were the quality means we that children particularly have. Next is development of language. Yes, actually, India is very diverse. If we see according to language, so here it is compulsory to give any proper format of language. So they are told that there are majorly three language like Hindi, English, and regional language. Science education. Earlier, there were no any science education, so they started a science education in school. So students of class means small children may get education of science. They start to learn about the science through books. And finally, production of book. Yes, as it was free education, so it is very much essential to provide books also. So production of book they had started. Now, second policy, education policy, that in 1986. So highlights Operation Blackboard to enhance 1968 policy to increase the number of schools. This operation was introduced so that each and every city or village must had a school for their for particular child of that village or city. So Rajiv Gandhi enhanced or just enlarged 1968 policy. Second is Navodaya school. Now they actually they found few students that they were very good in education. For them, they set up Navodaya schools. So they might get good accommodation plus education that is free of cost for scholar students, those who are really very good in study. For them they had announced. Now third is adult education. Yes, in the previous one 1968 policy they had started a minimum education, but now it is time to just move on from minimum to a little bit high. So they started adult education like intermediate, that we can say bachelor and other this type of degree. Now next is equal opportunity. This is the major thing. Actually, India was trapped in a casteism, and we can say that India was trapped in genders problem, we can say. So that's why this policy majorly this was concentrated on equal opportunity, like everyone must got equal opportunity, like female, scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, and all others. Finally, MLL, that is minimum level of learning. They are giving a minimum level of learning, not starting with a very high concept minimum. So every child must got a good level of learning. Next is National Education Policy 2020, and here according to my knowledge, I kept 9 major concepts. So first is highlights of National Education 2020. First is ensuring universal access at all level of schooling from pre-primary school to grade 12. Yes, now the government is in mood to enhance the level of education. To just enhance, give a new gear, just gear up the new education. Earlier it was just a minimum level of learning. Now they are giving a good quality of education. Those means like then only they can compete with other world, means other countries or rest part of the world, we can say. Next is ensuring quality early childhood care and education for all children between 3 and 6 years. Earlier it was the school was we can say that starting with the age of 6 years. Now they are starting with age of 3, means they are establishing a pre-primary school in KVs and other school, so they may boost the child from childhood, like they may guide from 3 years. Next is new curricular and pedagogical structure. Earlier it was 10 plus 2, 1 to 10, then plus 2. Now it is 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. That means 3-year pre-primary, then 1, then 2, 5-year complete, then 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. That is 5. That is till 5 completed. Then again 3-year. 6, 7, 8, then 4-year, 9, 10, 11, 12. So means they had given a means we can say that they so that they can find actually what development students getting regularly. No hard separation between arts and science, between curricular and extracurricular activities, between vocational and academic stream. What is this? Actually, this is, they are not giving any hard separation. Like right now, it is a very hard separation between, we can say, the science stream and arts stream. Science student means he didn't get, he does not take any means arts subject, but now there is no such hard separation. I want to learn history along with science subjects. Yes, it is my choice. I want to learn. Yes, I can take any art subject as well. And same with arts student. I want to learn physics. I want to study physics with art subject. It is possible. Assessment reforms. Yes. Now earlier it was only one examination for board. Now we have 2 examination yearly, one main and another for improvement. So they are just reducing the examination pressure to decrease the syllabus, half syllabus one time and half syllabus other time. So one student has very less pressure for education, and they he may perform very well. Next is setting up a new National Assessment Center, PARAK. PARAK is actually a new assessment center that is performance assessment, review and analysis of knowledge for holistic development. Now they are just, they are going to set up a new type of assessment center that is performance assessment, review, analysis of knowledge and holistic development, to see whether students or whether the children getting real knowledge or not. Every time they may set up in a school or any board schools like this. And next is coding to be taught from class 6 onwards. Now they are in mood to just teach coding, because coding is very essential. Now we are in a digital age. Every time we are seeing, for everything we have what one we can say that application. And so that's why they are just planning to enhance the computer literacy among the students, so that this time coding is very must. Now next is what? Next we have, that is light but tight. Yes, light is why? Because we are seeing that from one example that there is no hard separation between what? Science and arts. So this is a light type of activity, curricular means we can say that pedagogical structure, but tight is why? Because they are implementing, they are judging every time each and every student. Now the center and the states. Now this is time that earlier the state is one autonomous body, center CBSE is one another autonomous body. Now they are combining to give a good means to enhance the education, and they also just means they will just tell to the businessmen, please come and join our hand for education, invest in education. So they are giving, they are just planning to give 6% of GDP. Now next is, what is the need? So here I have one question, dear teachers. How is national education policy better than the current education system? Because I told you about old one and as well as few points about the new one. So please use chat box for your answer. Thank you so much. Now see what is the major difference. Here you can see a hierarchical diagram, the National Education Policy 2020, and here in this National Education Policy 2020 means the government most concerned about the quality education. Quality education they are concerning, so a student get education with quality, not only education with degree. Okay, now they are planning to give 6% GDP to the education. Okay, now see, previous academic structure was there is no pre-primary from age of 6 to 16. and from age of 16 to 18. Now see, here we have 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4, that already I told. 1986 policy only a right to education, that every child must get at least a minimum education, but it's time to enhance that one. Minimum education, okay, but now we will compete. We are here to means we are in mood to compete the world. So they are giving a good type of other things, coding, assessment, and all these things. Now, what is assessment? This is a good point. So assessment is the process of gathering and discussing information from multiple and diverse sources in order to develop a deep understanding of what students know. It is not about only the giving the marks, okay, you are good in math, you are good in science. No, it is about what students know. We just have to enhance that one. It is not like a student good in other subject, we are forcing to, okay, why you are studying this one? No, we have to enhance, we have to see, we have to observe that what exactly students know, and this information we can gather by many resources, by seeing the student, by behavior, by academic performance, by just parents teacher meeting, and many other things. So these are the weakness points that we can do to just enhance the assessment, like set plans, anything, set a goal, then analyze it, then audit it, then progress. These are the point by which we can see whether the students is progressing or not. What is assessment? Again, I have two figures. So just to check a speaking skill of any particular child, now you tell me which one is good. Figure number 1, just to check the speaking skill of a child, and figure number 2. So you are finding that figure number 2 is more effective because it is checking speaking as well as intellectual. So because here the particular child has to what we can say, think about the cow in their mind. So it will increase the intellectual ability. So this assessment is better. Now next is, what are different type of assessment? So there are mainly two type of assessment, as there are many types, but I am taking here two. Summative. Summative means at the end of every particular period, 3 months, okay, you have terminal examination. After 1 year, you have one examination, final examination. Now we are collecting this evidence, marks, to judge the student, but then only we are telling, okay, this student is very good. Okay, now this assessment is little bit type of evaluation. It is not about assessment type, but yes, this is assessment, but it is not, means we can say, we cannot say that this is the only assessment type. So one is formative assessment. Formative assessment really very good. Actually, we have to see this throughout the year, the performance of student throughout the year, and we have to identify the gaps in which field a particular student is lagging. So that's why it is also very important. Now when and how, it means we must support a particular student at different specific student needs, what exactly each, because we have to see what is required for each child. So in that particular way, we have to treat two students. So formative assessment is about seeing the student performance whole year, we can say every day. Now next is difference between evaluation, assessment and evaluation. Actually, we are mostly evaluating, not assessing anyone. So this is the basic difference. Assessment is what? Monitoring learning. Here we have to monitor the student, whether he is learning or not. And in evaluation, we are just assigning a grade. Okay, you got 10 marks, you got 20 marks. But this is not the way to teach any particular child. It is better to assess, monitor, improvement. Improvement is very much essential. We have to see what else we can do to improve the particular child. Don't judge anyone with the marks. Analyzing success. In evaluation, we are just analyzing the success. Whether he got good marks, bad marks, he's a bad student, he's a good student. We are only in this mindset. Now next is accountability. Accountability means we have to accountable. Like, yes, I am accountable for the student, if because I will see whether he is doing good or not, he is learning good or not. So I have to see, I have to be accountable. This is our task. So assessment is to be accountable. Teacher must be accountable to students. Making decision, here we are only making decision, pass or fail, like this. So I don't think so. This is making decision is good. This is a conditioning type. Don't condition yourself with any particular child. So here we have the conclusion of this one. Assessment is to increase quality, and this is your evaluation is to judge the quality. Now, as a teacher, we are here to increase the quality, not to judge. Okay, next is what? Why government reforming assessment? This is a big question. Now, here I have 4 colors: blue, green, yellow, red. So, according to you, right now, students is in which color? Yes, please use chat box for your answer. Okay, mostly you will say that yellow or red. Exactly. That's why I'm telling, because we are not assessing. That's why the government reforming the assessment, because right now it is in yellow and red. They have good pressure in their head, so they are finding too much pressures while doing anything. I think they must feel free to while doing anything. Next is how assessment reforms from old NEP to new NEP. So earlier we based on only we concentrate more on knowledge, but this time we are concentrating knowledge is required, but with skills. Like a student learn okay how to plant a tree, but he must know exactly practically how to plant a tree. So this is a very good thing. Next is exam oriented study. Earlier it was only exam, and through examination only we are judging any student, but now it is concept oriented study. We are seeing the student concept. Yes, his concept is exactly very good. If he got 80% marks, other are getting 90%, it's okay, let it be. But his concept is really very good. Product centric. Now earlier we are only product centric. Product means marks, but here we are learner centric. Student getting or not. This is the major task. Passive participation. Earlier the participation is still with the books, but now the participation is with books as well as with practical, theoretical and more practical. Earlier we are only reading the definition, learning the definition. Now it's time to move and just do something with that definitions. How new assessment is effective. So this is the multi-dimensional 360-degree report card government is making. There is a link between home and school, then only any particular child get good knowledge. So see, self-assessment, assessment by teacher, peer assessment, assessment by parents. So they are giving a full 360-degree now report card. They are observing student by their cognitive behavior, psychometer, what are the effective things. So a student, that a particular school may give an exact report of the student. It is not only about the marks of any particular subject. So assessment is now like this, and they are focusing more on self-assessment and peer assessment. So let's have a look what is self-assessment and peer assessment. Peer assessment and self-assessment. So peer and self is like a student, any task performing by a group of students or particularly by one student. So what is the benefit of this? It increases the responsibility, because the student has, a particular child has what we can say that responsibility to complete their task. So it increases, okay, this is my task and I have to complete within this time. So it increases them, okay, I am responsible, I can do this. And then last time I did that one, like this. Next is judgmental skill. Yes, if they are working in a group, they can easily judge each other. They can share, like, yes, if we do like this, okay, his idea is good, his idea is not that much good. So they can judge among them friend. It is very good actually. Same grade. If they are working in a group, suppose 4 are very good, 2 are little bit weak, so all are getting same grade. Now they have a good moral thinking, okay, I also got good marks, so I must perform well. More learning opportunity because they are working in a group or self. So there are more, they can find their own gaps either by themselves or by their friends. Freedom of expression. Yes, here they have freedom of expression because they are working with their friends, so they can express for any idea. Last is relevant feedback. They are getting feedback from whom? They are getting feedback from their friends or by self. So what is exactly this one? They are improving, they are finding their own gaps. If they are finding their own gaps, they can really work on that. And finally, what is parak? Parak is an institution. Now they are planning to set this Parak in every school maybe, or in any board school, just to see the student performance regularly. And what is Parak? P stand for performance, A for assessment, R for review, A for analysis, K for knowledge for, and H for holistic development. So Parak is now a new type of thing, a new type of, we can say, an institution, maybe through a software, or it will be clear in very short time. But it will really give a 360 approach to any particular child or any particular school, to how to increase the ability of student. Okay, so thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions, you may ask. So for your patience, thank you so much.